How are you doing today?
I am well. How are you?
I'm good. I love the wind. So it was windy outside. I love the wind. So I'm
Oh
good.
yeah, yeah, definitely a windy day
It is.
today.
It is.
Well, I just want to thank you for all of your dedication to community, to elevating brilliance in the community, and to doing the work of how we keep our community safe. Let's talk about this because I know Mothers for Police Accountability. You guys just had a meeting last night around community safety. Tell us about that.
Yes, we did. So what Mothers is doing now is that we're actually running a parallel track. We're also concerned about police harm and how they harm us in the community, but we also paramountly concerned about community harm. And what are the elements of a community of a safe community? It's been a generation, and we have children who've never known safety. I mean, if you're 32 years old today, and you lived in Seattle, by the time you were 6 or 7 years old, you probably knew your family knew someone that it might have gotten killed. I mean, and that's it's been a occurring theme in our community, and so we came together to look at the elements of a safe community. And everybody wanted to be safe in their own home. We also have a survey. People want to be able to go to the store safe. And then we had one of the young ladies there, mothers there, who had lost her partner to gun violence, and so we also we will be putting together a video of the mothers who have lost their children to violence in Seattle because those lives don't matter. I mean, there's nobody talking about Black Lives Matter now, and especially mothers do support the shot spotter, and there's a lot of people who don't ACLU, but it's not their children. It's our children. And the social scientists said years ago that the African American people, we didn't care about having a safe community. We didn't care about all of that. And so we have internalized that. But this is not who we are. This is just an aberration of people who've been in this country before the Civil War. And so we have to build on that. They talked about the schools, what happens in the education of the system. I mean, our children grew up not even knowing who they are because, unlike you and other parents who take the time to make sure that they understand that they got here by way how they got here, the extraordinary ancestors that we've had. I
Mhm.
mean, we fought for our own liberation. I mean and we are the better day that our ancestors prayed up.
Yeah,
I mean, look at you.
yeah,
You're the better day that your ancestors prayed up.
that's
And
right.
that, but if our children knew that piece, I mean, there's no reason in Seattle to ever pick up a gun. You can go to the city, you can go to community college free. You can take a bus to school free.
Hmm.
I mean, there's a lot of free things in Seattle that we're not taking advantage of. So how do we do that? Well, we talked about mental health issues. I mean, mental health issues and being able to be paramount about that and understand that also we're still dealing with oppression sickness.
Yeah.
We're navigating oppression every day. I don't care how much money we have. I don't care how poor we are. Everybody navigates it in a different way. And also our liberal friends sometimes and the far right and the far left don't care if we change. Because as long as we're picking up a gun to harm somebody, white supremacy wins.
Mm.
It's like a chess game.
Yeah, this is something that's so true. I mean, one of the things that I think has been being said to, I've heard it now several times in community is that, when we talk about internal violence in the Black community, we have young folks that are committing, being shooters out here on the
That's
street.
right. Hmm.
And now they're doing work of the KKK, basically.
That's right. Exactly.
And I'm hearing that more and more now.
That's right. But also we have to understand that this is a psychological war. It's been going on for 159 years. I've been out of high school 59 years. I was one of those wonderful 1946 babies. Wonderful 46 baby.
Yes.
And the war is going on and it's psychological. Every 10 years they change everything. I mean, and so it's hard for us to understand, but it's a war. And the social engineering, young people have been socially engineered to be violent. They wasn't violent 69 years ago. So what has happened in society that today we have children who will come in here and harm us and not bat an eye? What has happened in our society that have allowed that? It's more opportunity today than it was when I grew up. I mean,
Mhm.
really, truly, opportunity is abound. But look at the accomplishments. I mean, look at the accomplishments of the people like Katherine Johnson and the people who came out of segregation. I mean, what was that cohesiveness? And I've heard you talk about cohesiveness in the Central District when you grew up here.
Yeah.
I mean, people, we are communal people, and we need one another.
Yeah.
We need one another. We were linked together in time when we came here. And people say, well, we didn't come as an individual.
That's
We
right.
came as a collective.
That's right.
And that's so we need one another. And so the elements, is safety. I mean, just been walking out your house. I mean, because we're the only people in America that has three different places where we get harmed. One from people who don't like us, who don't live in our community, who don't look like us, like Buffalo, just go to the grocery store. Then we have the police who harms us, and then we have a community harm.
Mm.
That's a lot of stress on mothers. You're a mother,
Yeah.
it really is. And so we on our knees praying all the time for our children, because they could just go to the store and not come back.
That's right.
So we have, and so these are the things that we have to talk about. Nobody can help us. We don't need the white liberals to help us on this. This is our issue.
Mm-hmm.
But we didn't create it. We've lived through this issue. And we are heroic people. And you know why I authentically love us? Because every day we go out into a hostile world, and we send our kids into hostility every day. I think we're the most courageous people.
Yeah.
Because look at that. Look at that hostility that we go out to. You go in the office. What is that new word you all use? Something about aggression. You got all these new words for aggression. What do you call it? You call it micro.
Microaggressions.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. That means
Right.
somebody want to touch your hair and
Yeah.
all those things.
Yeah.
So we're just really committed to building a world for peace for our children, for the next generation.
Yeah.
We're
And
going to plant that tree. One thing
yeah.
about planting an olive tree, I might not live to see the fruit of the tree,
Mhm.
but your children will.
Yeah.
That's why we get up that's why we get up. It's not for us. It's for the children. And that's
Yeah.
why that's what this is about. We want the next generation to live in peace, well, while we can help the young people understand that they are the better day that their ancestors. Their ancestors did not suffer for them to pick up a gun and harm somebody.
That's right.
Did
That's
not.
right.
Did not.
Well, this is such a. I mean, this is the dedication of Mothers for Police Accountability that you have really dedicated so many years to. Is really getting these messages out so people understand it. But you said something there too that I think I want to make sure people hear this in terms of the shot spotter, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I was able to talk to Brian Callanan a few weeks ago about this,
Mhm.
and it's like, I was like, well, should we be the guinea pigs? I want to hear your perspective because you and I had a really great conversation out in community about this. And you're saying, look, we need this in our community to really begin to figure out how we identify who these shooters are, because we still, I mean, we talk about Tyrone Love. There's so many,
There's so many of them.
countless murders
That's right, so
that
many.
are still not solved. Tell us a bit more about the shot spotter.
Well, what it does is that it will give to know where the shots are coming from. Number one, be able to get there, and number two, but it goes along with another safety plan. I mean, it's a safety plan also. So we have to come up with a safety plan. But if we can identify cars or individuals who are harming us, I mean, people shoot people in the daytime because they know they're not going to jail.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, why do they shoot people in the daytime? Because they know they're not going to jail. And we ought not to be satisfied with murderers in the grocery store. I mean, we ought to owe it to our own dignity that we want to have a clean, we want to have a safe community. And that's just one of the tools. That's one of the tools. And the other tools is that we're going to be actually, eventually we want to run some kind of, commercials. Maybe we might buy some time on Converge Media.
Yeah.
I mean, because really, I believe peace and unity has to be marketed. Just like, why does people buy Campbell's soup? It was marketed. And so peace has to be marketed. And so a whole plan about marketing peace. Why can't we pilot this? Why can't we be one of the cities that pilot it and let the Black community see if it works? And then if it don't work, I mean, and then if there's other problems, then we can join that chorus. But why would you deny this an opportunity? And I challenge the city council. They have not ever had, have never ever had a forum with the mothers. No one has ever talked to the mothers who have buried their children. Can you believe that?
Yeah, this is I mean, when you said this to me in community, I was I remember being just so shocked by it, because you would think that immediately when we talk about centering the voices of those that are closest to the issues, mothers really have been, right?
That's
And I
right.
think, parents who lose loved ones to these acts of violence in
That's
our
right.
community, their voices should be at the center of whatever solutions we're
That's right.
crafting.
That's right.
So when we think about something like a shot spotter, we need to hear from them on
That's
this,
right.
right? We
That's
need
right.
to hear that they're saying, no, look, even if there's some data that maybe shows it's not all the way right, how can we
That's
actually
right.
benefit from,
That's right.
what this
That's right.
this new service is trying to
That's
do?
right. That's
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
And let us be part of that. If it don't work, though, but who knows? I mean, the violence might go down. I mean, the shooters might think differently. I mean,
Yeah.
they'd say, "Oh, okay, I might." I mean, it might deter something. And I think that the mothers. You have over 1,000 mothers in Chicago. You had, I mean, look at the mothers here. I mean, if you add them all up from 2000, from 2020 till now, it's going to be almost 100 mothers.
Mm.
We ought to shame ourselves. And then for people to tell us that we don't need it or we shouldn't even pilot it, I think they're out of line.
Mm.
They don't live in our community, and if so, maybe they have not ever went to see a mother. I've sat with mothers.
Mhm.
The grief is just there's no way you can contain a mother's grief when she gets the news that her child has been shot, or when she gets to the hospital. She's coming to the hospital thinking her child is in the hospital, but the child is in the morgue.
Mm.
So that means, so it's all of this trauma that happens in our community, and nobody wants to help us with it because they don't see us as human beings. So we'll have to do it ourselves.
Yeah.
So and so we're made for this because our ancestors made it through.
Wow. Reverend Walden, I could sit with you for a whole special. I appreciate the work
Thank
that
you.
you are constantly doing to elevate these issues in our community. Thank you for everything you're
Thank
doing.
you.
Make sure you look right there and let folks know
Okay.
how they connect with mothers for police accountability.
Well, we got a website. It's Mothers, S on Mothers for Police Accountability .org. That's Mothers, S on Mothers for Police Accountability.org. Our hotline number is 206 329 2033. It's 206 329 2033. And the whole world has my cell phone number already.
Wow. Reverend Walden, thank you so much for
Well,
being
thank
with me
you.
today.
Thank you. Such a beautiful person. And I'm so glad to be in the studio with you. It's like it's making my day. I'm always wondering what you're going to have on there. I mean, so let me see. Fashionistas here. So I'm not that fashion, but you are. I just, I don't know what you're wearing, but it's always good.
Oh, I take that to heart coming from you. Thank you so much. It is your first time in my living room set, and you are welcome anytime.
All righty. Well, let's do it again at some other time. Thank you so
Absolutely.
much.
Yeah.